رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه ربنا يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح يا عليم اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إنما الأعمال بالخواتيم. I remind myself and I remind yourselves that we know the famous hadith of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which he says actions are based on intentions. But there is another famous narration which says, or which mentions that all actions are based on its ending. So we've come to the last, when they hand over the baton to the last person. So we renew our intention that we are here solely and only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from amongst those people in which He describes in the hadith, خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَ, that the best of you are those who learn and teach the Qur'an. So alhamdulillah, we're in the space where we are able to learn a bit of Qur'an in whichever way possible, whether it is fa'ala, still part of the Qur'an, or whether we are going to recite the Qur'an as well. So this week inshallah, what I thought about and what has happened for the last two classes was basically an explanation of what is going to take place within this class, right? So if you look in front of you, everyone has the Arabic alphabet, and I think everybody knows the Arabic alphabet. And for those who don't know the Arabic alphabet properly, alhamdulillah, that's fine, because we are all going to start from Alif inshallah. And why we start from Alif is because many of us, we grew up in certain household and we have a certain slang, sometimes in various ways, because of our language, so we speak in a certain manner. And the Arabic language has a set of rules and a set of or a manner of speaking as well, and a manner of reciting as well. So we start from Alif to brush over the Arabic alphabet so that we understand the makharij, the exit points of the letters, and the sifat. So a makhraj is where the letter comes from, and that we're going to learn, and we're going to go over that inshallah. And the sifat are qualities that are contained with each letter as well. For example, a qalqala. Everybody knows what's a qalqala? Ab. So why don't I say a qalqala and a kha, akha? Because there's a category of letters, there's a specific quality that is attached to those letters, or that are attached to those letters, and it happens in specific cases. So we try to correct the recitation in this manner inshallah, and via practices in this class we all grow together inshallah, and before we know it inshallah, we'll be proficient within our recitation as well inshallah. And then the second component to this period is going to be a memorization period, alright? So now when you say memorization, for whoever's over 30 or 40 or even 20, it's like, yeah, what praja Aji? Please, Kanala, I've tried it all my life. Who hasn't tried to memorize Surah Yasin? Everybody, right? Who actually successfully did it and is able to recite it for me Surah Yasin right now without any mistakes? Many is going to say, you know what, I can't recite Quran properly, but when Surah Yasin come on the radio, then I can bacha with or tabarak when I'm sitting in a dhikr or whatever the case may be, right? So many of the times we attempted to do it, alhamdulillah, because of the zeal, and we have this courage and we attempt to memorize, but many of the times, unfortunately, the methodology that we use isn't necessarily the best methodology. The zeal is there, alhamdulillah, the intention is there, and Allah reward us for whatever we do. But from the prophetic model, we find, just to use an example, if we look at everybody knows what hijrah is, right? Hijrah is the migration from Makkah to Medina. So geographically, where is Makkah on the map? Sorry, not geography lesson, but where is Makkah on the map? In the north? Okay, rather in Arabia, where is Makkah? In the south, right? And then where is Medina? In the north, right? So up here. So we all know the story, right? That Nabi Muhammad ﷺ traveled from Makkah to Medina, and on the way they camped at a place called the cave of, not Hira, the cave of Thawr. Hira is where revelation came. Jabal Nur, right? That's Hira. The cave of Thawr was where, even though it's not necessarily the strongest of narrations, where the spider spun the web and the eggs, etc., right? So that's the cave of Thawr. So naturally in your mind, or logically, where is the cave of Thawr going to be? Between north and south, am I correct? In between, right? But actually, those who have been, anybody been to the Cave of Thawr? Been there, right? Do you know where the Cave of Thawr is? In the complete opposite direction. So the Cave of Thawr is like further down south. So there's various lessons we take from that. And what are the lessons? What do you think? Hey? What lessons? To mislead the enemy. Okay, those are the lessons for Hijrah. That when we're speaking about the Seerah, that Nabi Muhammad ﷺ probably had in his mind, right? And Allah basically directed him in that manner. But you and I living in the 20th century, what lesson do we take from that? We take a step back before we can move forward. Okay, I'll take that as a lesson. Anything else? Revision.
Go back.
They weren't actually going back, remember. That was their forward, by the way. Because they went down and they took the scenic route around. Then they came around into Medina. Everybody with me? So it wasn't necessarily going back and then forward. It was going around. Right? Bismillah? Isn't the easy way? No.
Take a different direction.
Okay, that kind of but tweaked. Planning. Simple. In our day-to-day lives, planning. So, and in a similar manner with Quran and memorization of Quran and hifz and part-time hifz and full-time hifz, planning is very, very important. Is everybody with me? Right? So, I'll give you an example. I tell you, you're going to learn hifz. Right? So, who has children that's doing hifz? Okay, children, there we have. They probably stress out a lot, right? Alright? One of the reasons is, and you can try to implement this, right? Tonight, you sit with him, and then you take a year planner. Then you plan the entire year, and you'll see immediately how the demeanor, everything changes. It's like this. I tell you, you know what? Every week we're going to do 10 pages. Every week we're going to do 10 pages. But what if I tell you, you know what? Every 5 minutes, with the methodology that we're going to learn, you're able to learn 2 lines. So that means within 25 minutes you're able to learn 1 page. 1 page. Within 1 hour you're able to learn 2 pages. And every day, if you give 1 hour, you're able to learn 2 pages. That's how many pages for the week? 14 pages. 14 pages because 7 days. Alright? We don't take off on weekends. We don't take off, right? So that's 14 pages. So that means 2 weeks time we're able to learn how much? 1 juz. Every month we're able to learn how many juz? Ajaza? 2 ajaza. If it's times 12, it's how many ajaza? 24. Can it be? You break it down yourself. Think about it. Is it possible? What do you feel in your heart now? It's possible. You don't know how we're going to do it, but you feel it's possible. That's important. The approach to something is very, very important. So the mindset at the beginning was, oh my Lord, this guy is probably going to come here and we're going to try the same old that we've tried. He doesn't know. We're probably going to have it. No. The methodology is very, very important. Right? So if a person learns, for example, 4 verses a day or 5 verses a day, within 4 to 5 years, he's a hafiz or she's a hafidah. It's not necessarily rocket science. So it's like, instead of giving a baby, we don't give babies burgers. Do we give them burgers? But we enjoy burgers. But why don't we give it to them? Because they're not ready for burgers. Is everybody with me? So we give them breast milk or purity, whatever. Okay, not papa babies, depending. Purity. So the same thing with us. We starting our journey of memorization. Forget about swallowing the whole Surah Yasin Kitabi. No. We take a little bit at a time. Is everybody with me? And we're going to teach the methodology. Okay. That's number 1 or number 2. Where are we? Number 3. Right? Now the other thing is this. What is concentration? The reason I start off with what is concentration is because for us to memorize, we have to concentrate, right? And we tell our children and we tell our family, for those parents, how do you tell your children? Concentrate. Focus. Okay, what's focus? Can somebody define what is concentration for me? Focusing on one thing. Okay, very good. To focus on one thing. Anything else? Any other definitions? Some people said focus, right? Frame of thought. Anything else? absence of distraction. Shameen, nice. That's a very fancy one. Anybody else? Any of the males? Usually the males are the best at concentrating. Because, yeah, we are the ones that can watch TV and then the wife will come later and like, I told you 100 times, and you're like, you know what, I've been concentrating. And anything else? If you must think about the definition of concentration, what do you think it is? So there's various things, right? And the reason I mention this is because sometimes we speak to our children and we say concentrate. Or those of us that's going to have children, and your child's going to do hafiz or whatever, then you say concentrate. But it's important to understand that this word is very, very vast. And it's important to break down the word concentration. Everybody with me? So I can tell you concentrate. And then some of you are going to go, so I am. Concentration isn't a face movement. Are you with me? Or somebody's going to go into the corner. Concentration isn't a hand movement. Are you with me? Concentration is something that takes place in the brain. But how do we get there? And that is what we're going to have to focus on. And I mentioned this again, no matter what your age. I told the other classes as well, I have a student, he's 63 years old. 63. He memorized 1.5 juz already. Yeah, not just memorize, right? I mean, he knows the 1.5. To the extent I tell him now, bacha. Then he bacha from the beginning right till the end of the 1.5. And then he'll make a mistake, then he'll tell me, hey, but I'm there. No, I read the other one, right? That one is there, isn't it? So he knows the 1.5 juz, right? I don't know if it is because he learns at the graveyard or what, because he says he learns at the kubus for inspiration. Right? That's his thing. Or it is the methodology. But I'm thinking part is inspiration of the graveyard, but most of it is the methodology, alhamdulillah. And we learn this from the prophetic seerah. We're not haphazard people. We place our trust in Allah, but foolish people are those people who don't use the means. Isn't it? You have a sickness and you don't want to take a tablet. We're going to say, it's lekker. So the same thing with us. We're going to say there's a means and there's a methodology of how to memorize. We try, inshallah, to use the methodology. And I promise you will see results. Just the law. Huh? I mean, these are many parents, alhamdulillah, they contact us because sometimes we workshop the methodology at schools. So they contact me, they say, my child is a bitchy. You know, he has a problem, a learning disability, whatever. I say, no problem, what's the problem? He can't learn 5 lines. 3 hours, he's doing full-time hifz. I say, okay, no problem, bring him. He come, and then we show him how to learn. Then in like 40 minutes, he learned 1.5 pages, almost 2 pages. And the parents like, whoa. So either he's faking, or we're not understanding something. But it just shows the minute we plan and we change our approach, things become easy. And the minute you shine light into the tunnel, what happens? We want to enter into the tunnel and we don't mind. You know what I mean? We don't tiptoe and we're not scared and we will remain consistent. Why? Because it's a lekker thing to do now. It's not something, oh my God, the more I learn, the more I forget. And the more stressful it is. And I think about the hadith, if anybody forgets one ayah, it's Jahannam and it's burning. And nah, it's alright, I rather don't memorize. It will be nice you memorize and you can actually retain what you've memorized, no matter what your age. The difference is with the muscle. The brain is a muscle, just keep that in mind. And the more we exercise a muscle, the stronger it will become. Same thing with the brain. The brain is never too old. It just takes a bit of delicate exercises for older people. And you know what I mean? It depends on your level, inshallah. So how do we concentrate to get back to that, inshallah? There are 3 components to keep in mind. 3 components, right? The first thing is we have to look at what we are doing. So to look is one thing. I'm looking at all of you now, but I don't remember your faces. But if I look, you know, like newlyweds, you must, Mala Masroor's brother, right? No, you're not his brother. So newlyweds, I'm just thinking because he got married recently, how you look at your loved one's eyes. You know, or the wife looks at the husband, it's a different type of look. You know what I mean? It's seeing everything on their faces and they'll know there's a mole here and a mole there and he smiles like this and she smiles like this, etc. Right? But to give a more detailed explanation, the ulama, they say, refer to ar-raqib. What's the meaning of ar-raqib? Come again? To be close, no? Ar-raqib, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ar-raqib. Now I'm just making a hand movement. This must sound, I'm like Trump. Ar-raqib means the ever watchful. Allah is always aware of His servant, always like gazing upon us. So obviously وَلِلَّهِ الْحَمْدُ وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. There is no comparable to Allah. We can't understand this, right? How Allah sees each and every one, each and every slave, each and every of His creation, every single second of the day. Right? We can't understand it, but they say how Allah stays at us to make us understand, even though it's not so. It's like a hunter. Anybody shoot gun? No. We have gun people? We have gun people? So you shoot for a club? No? Okay. So if you're a hunter, right? We watch movies, right? And the snipers, then they're aiming at the person. Whatever the sound is, right? And the song. Then that guy doesn't breathe. Because if he breathes, what happens? Either the gun is going to move, or if you do dry firing, right? Then they say you have to practice keeping your hands still, because if you dry fire, you do this, then you miss a target, right? So it's to practice to keep on target. But when you're looking at the target, it's such an intense look, you don't even really breathe. So when we look, that is let's say, to a similar manner, that is how Allah looks at us. And we try to replicate that when we're looking at what we are going to memorize. Everybody with me? So when we're looking at whatever we are going to memorize, we make this intention that we never want to forget, and we look at it in such an intense manner. Is everybody with me? It's difficult to do that, but you'll see when you look at it after this, inshallah, and keeping this in mind, you'll see it's a different type of look. That's number one. Number two is, we have to recite loudly. We have to recite loudly, no matter how foul, skeef and krum our voices are, we still have to recite loudly. Why loudly? Because when we are able to recite loudly, then we tune into our radio station that we are speaking. Right? Many times we spoke and then we never listened to ourselves. But when these three things work together, and then that is called concentration. Everybody with me? So when you're listening to yourself, it is impossible for you to listen to anything else. But unfortunately, we have a habit, or we have what we call it, it's called FOMO. What's FOMO? Fear of missing out. So we might be, for example, learning in the room, but we hear some talking in the kitchen, but in the ears like... Because even though we're reciting loud here, but we're listening outside. Is everybody with me? You can try that later on, right? Recite loudly and listen to yourself. You won't be able to hear anything around you. If you hear something around you, you are not concentrating 100%. But because we have a fear of going into that mode, because not just FOMO, but because we're always on our guard. Is everybody with me? We're always on our guard. So we sometimes scared to go into that zone because things might happen around us. But with me? And this proves to show that we are able to concentrate on that level. How many times have we gone to the toilet and then only to realize we were supposed to go to the kitchen? Never happened to you? Okay, generally it's supposed to happen to me. Okay, how many times did you drive to work and thinking, oh my Lord, I was supposed to go to my mother-in-law or my mother? Did it happen? Okay, so maybe some people never happen to the toilet. Okay, but on different levels it happens. So what does that prove? It proves that we are able to concentrate on such a level that we are oblivious to what's happening around us. Is everybody with me? And that is Quran. When we engage like that, we'll definitely see results. I taught a class last week, right? A course similar to this. And then I explained the memorization. So people did not believe that they can memorize. So I said, look, let's make a bet. After this class, you would have memorized 7 verses of Surah Naba. We spoke about Nabi, Amma Yatasa'alun, right? And after the 1.5 hours and explaining, etc., actually about an hour, they all memorized 7 verses. Is everybody with me? Because sometimes we have to prove it to them, but they were able to do it. Are you with me? So what we've seen, look, there are various methodologies of how to do it, but alhamdulillah, what we've seen with this memorization methodology is it works for all ages, and it's very, very simple, alright, to do, inshallah. So what we're going to do next, are there any questions before we carry on? Bismillah. I said, look, recite loudly, and listen. The minute these 3 channels work together, and when we're listening, we tune into our radio station, whatever is coming out of our mouth, the connection to the brain will be proper. But if a person, say for example, they're reciting and they recite softly, right? And they recite softly, you will struggle to concentrate and memorize whatever is supposed to be coming to the brain. Is everybody with me? But if all of these things, three things work together, no matter what you place in front of that person, you'll develop a photographic memory. You'll develop it. Many times you have this notion and this idea, a Hafiz person is an intelligent person. We have this idea, right? You do Hafiz, everything will just come right in your life. Not necessarily. A Hafiz, obviously, look, you're going to practice, you're going to exercise the brain. But when we memorize and we are able to compartmentalize things, we understand how to break up things because we concentrated while we were learning, etc., etc. Now today, many Hafiz students are under stress. Our Hafiz parents can relate to this. They're under stress. Sometimes they don't want to go. They sit long hours in the evening. They feel it's like they're reluctant to go to school. Why? Because the methodology that they're using, and they become more despondent than anything else. Right? Am I right? Those who have experience. But if they use a methodology same like us, we are able to picture things better, not only in Quran, but in everything else as well. That's why a matriculant, for example, friends of mine will loyal of him on general knowledge. Night before they read, my brother. And they're sitting there reading. Then they ask him, aren't you studying? He says, yeah, lees goed, very good. He's going to write tomorrow. A matric exam, why? Because your brain is used to compartmentalizing things. You understand, okay, this fits there. وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا وَإِذَا خَلَوْا is the third page of Surah Baqarah. وَإِذَا خَلَا is on the third last page of Surah Baqarah. You understand things in that particular manner. So when matric comes, no matter what, I'm here on this page, there, that's how things work. I have a task at work, I'm on university, I'm wherever, this is how things go. Is everybody with me? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us understanding, inshallah. And from the brain, inshallah, settles in the heart. Any other questions, inshallah? I know there are some people, and many of us, alhamdulillah, we can recite. Alright, we can recite. But we, inshallah, the intention is we start from the beginning so that everyone can benefit and we grow together as well. Alright? Because I'm sure, no matter how good our recitation is, we can all improve somewhat, right? And we can improve on the kha and the layn and the dhal, etc. Any questions, inshallah, before? Bismillah. Another page? Is there extra page? The pages that was brought, tell you the honest truth, only yesterday I came to realize that I'm teaching it today. So that's the reason why the pages are late. Yeah. We are going to be doing a book from, it's called, forget the name of the book. Al-Qira'a al-Baghdadiyya, I think is right. So what I've come to see over the last couple of weeks, alhamdulillah, we all try to better our recitation. Some of us that can't recite, we want to recite. But the process is very long. And what we've seen with this book, alhamdulillah, is that the process is very, very short. It's very, very short, and the methodology is very, very short. Is everybody with me? So we'll try to follow this book, and hopefully within the next couple of months we're able to recite, inshallah. Hopefully properly as well. Right? It sounds like a very, don't worry. At least while we are still in the process of getting there, we get double the reward. Alhamdulillah, right? Any questions? Bismillah. No questions? So everybody understood the memorization methodology? Right? Okay. There's another thing. 3 times in and 3 times out. Whatever we approach to memorize, we break them up into words. So we all know verbs, we know isms, we know fi'al, we know huruf, etc., etc. in the Quran. Am I right? For example, like Alhamdu Lillahi Rabbil Alameen. Those are all separate words, even though they look in cursive and they look like one word, right? But they are all separate words. So in the methodology that we're going to be using and the technique, we break them all up into words, right? And then we recite the word 3 times inside, 3 times outside. Then we add another word 3 times inside, 3 times outside. Then we join the 2 words together, and then we recite them 3 times inside, 3 times outside. When you have done this for an entire page, is it possible for you not to know that page? It's impossible for you not to know that page. Just think about it. Now generally what happens is, what we've tried to do was, in the past, we might have recited the page 100 times, isn't it so? And then you finally memorize a sticky on the page. And you actually have a piece. Then the minute you come to the bottom of the page, you forgot the top. Now you go over the top, you come to the bottom. Because for fluk, like Mullah Khalil said, from my Jahiliyyah days, I was catching up to me now. I should have been a pious person. It's not that, right? You ladies, I can relate. I'm laughing. Is everybody with me? But if you take one word at a time and we build onto that, there's less having to go back, less having to repeat, less having to stress. So it might, on the apparent, look slower, but actually you're going faster. Is everybody with me? It's like a person that's doing a race, right? The one that overlaps him, he overlapped him already, then he's coming behind him in the race. It looks like he's second, but actually he's first, but he's already surpassed him. Everybody with me? So that's how it looks. It looks slow on the apparent. The mind wants to tell you the bigger chunk, the quicker, but actually we work in stages. تدرجا أحب الأعمال إلى الله ما دام وإن قل أو أدومها وإن قل. The best of actions to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the most beloved, are those actions which are done consistently. وإن قل, even if they might be a little bit, a few. Every day you read your salawat 10 times, it's fine, khalas. It's more beloved to that person who read 1,000 salawat one day and never ever again. Everybody with me? So we memorize like this, inshallah, and hopefully we tell ourselves, I taught a third year class now, but then as the one person said, no, we're not a third year, we are fourth year. And somebody said, no, actually we are fourth year. And somebody said, no, we are sixth year. So hopefully when we get there, inshallah, we would have memorized a substantial amount of the Quran, inshallah. Say Ameen. Right? But today, inshallah, what we're going to do is we go through the Arabic alphabet for the next 5 minutes. I was told to dismiss the class at 10 to actually. I have no idea. No? Oh, probably to fetch some family members at the wrong road? Okay. Okay, but so for the next 2 or 3 minutes, we'll just go through the Arabic alphabet and we'll say them with the correct makharij. Everybody with me? And why is this so important? Number one, we recite properly. And number two, when we're going to start speaking Arabic, we can sound proper, like proper Arabs also, inshallah, right? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف با تا ثا جيم. This is a very a letter. Look, every country in the world, they have the letters that they struggle with, right? So when we say struggle with, because of their language, they have to try a bit harder. But the Arabic language comes naturally, you will see. So Jim for us is one of those letters. Sometimes we might say Jim because of Afrikaans, not just because of, right? So Jim, it must be inside the mouth, in the middle of the mouth. Jim, Ha, Kha. Another letter that we also struggle with is Kha. Sometimes we say Kho, yeah, or we say right? Generally, when we learn, the older people, the Imam or the Khalifa, what did they say? You must hear that Kha. But actually, a Kha is a very subtle letter. It's the top of the throat. So at the bottom of the throat, let's say the throat is divided into 3. Martin is a very unorthodox manner of teaching, right? So if this is the throat, right, and the tongue is over here, right? So Hamza, Ha, Ain, Ha, Ghain, and Kha. Is everybody with me? So at the bottom is Hamza, Ha, Ah, and Ha. Ain and Ha is in the middle. Ain, Ha. And on the top is actually Ghain and Kha. It's not on your back here, no. It's Ghain and Kha. It's actually a subtle, it's a calm letter. It's not actually that, you know what I mean, aggressive. So, Ha, Kha, Dal. So we have a habit, we say Dal, because Dal was, right? But it's actually Dal. The tongue doesn't come out of the mouth. Not Dal. 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 The tongue goes against piece of the teeth and piece of the gums on top here. So let's say this is the teeth and these are the gums, the tongue goes here. Dal. Dal. Ra. Make a note with the Ra. Sometimes the Ra is full mouth and sometimes the Ra is empty mouth. When I say Ra, I say, for example, Bismillahir-Rah. And sometimes it's Kareem, not Kareem. That's what we do. For example, we say Billahi. Is that correct? Billahi. But sometimes you say Billahi, some people. But why? Because we don't understand if it's full mouth or empty mouth. That's what we're going to learn. Is it Billahi or Billahi? It's called tarqiq and tafkhim. But another thing is this. I don't know if you guys like technical terminologies. I personally don't like it. You see, tajweed. Tajweed is a science of application. It's not necessarily a theoretical science. Sometimes we have this understanding that tajweed is like this daunting task. Oh my God, it's irritating actually. But actually, tajweed is a science of application. So tajweed, we have to practice more. Are you with me? And when it comes natural on the tongue, you might not be able to describe why, but naturally you're able to do that. Are you with me? Yeah. So tafkhim and tarqiq, the reason why I don't mention it is I don't want your mind to go fixated on tafkhim and tarqiq, but then you don't know full mouth and round mouth. Are you with me? And that is actually where the essence are. And I know generally older people, they don't like technicalities. They want to know why. Let's go to the reason why we are doing it. Are you with me? Not this whole and this is why. Let's say why. Now afterwards maybe we can branch off. You know what I mean? There's a idhar, there's a ikhfa, there's a idgham, etc. Alright? Za. So za, sometimes in the Arab world, or sometimes when we YouTube it, we'll find the letter zai. Ahsantum. Zai. Za. Seen. Sheen. Sod. Dad. Dad is one of the most difficult letters, or actually the most difficult letter in the Arabic alphabet. And why is makhraj so important? Because we could say a dad and a dad, but that's a dal. And we of all people supposed to know now the importance of, for example, a, I, u. And sometimes for the importance of makharij. For example, what is qalb? What is kalb? Dog. So they can say it's a baie feile hond. Are you with me? It depends, right? So the importance of makharij, and because it's kalamullah, Allah's word, we try our best, right? Regarding the makharaj and the recitation of the Quran as well, right? Pa. Not to, pa. Va. Ain. And remember, we don't have to go, Ain is here in the middle. Ain isn't here, in the pancreas. Ain is there. Alright, no. Sometimes we overthink the word. There was an old guy while I was doing Hifz, Buta Yusuf. Allah, I think he's still alive. Alright? Allah grant him still Jannah. Amen. Good life. So he came to me one day and I was reciting, learning my work, and just like in my own work. Then he came to me, he told me, Abdullah, trek jou mond. But he used the BK word, right? He's like, trek jou, laat die garab reg uit kan kom. So I'm like, okay, so how am I supposed to like, but that's how it was taught, right? So, Ain isn't actually so deep. You know, it's actually a subtle letter. It's not really of the most difficult letters. Ain. Ghain. You see it? It's not too deep down. Ghain. Ha. Sorry. Fa. Qaf. Not qaf, no? Qaf. So where the qaf comes from is where the back of the tongue, where you lift the back of the tongue, like when you gulping down water, that type of sound. Qaf. Again, qaf. Kaf. So a bit forward, the tongue doesn't rise. Kaf. Lam. Mim. Noon. Wow. Not wow, no? Wow. Ha. Hamza. Yeah. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Ahsantum. So what we do is we immediately jump into Fatha. But we don't call it Fatha. What do we call it? Ah. Ah. If you want the technical terminology, no problem. We can do Fatha. But we rather do Ah because then it's easier to remember. Because tomorrow, I promise you, or next week, people ask, what's the difference between Fatha and a Kasra? And a Dhamma? And then I actually had people in some classes that ask you, what's the difference? Fatha, Kasra and Zabr, Zair, Pesh. And I say, it's the same thing, it's just Urdu. So we rather use the terminology that is simple, Because we want the end result, reciting Quran. Everybody with me? Any last questions before we conclude? Bismillah.
Abdullah from Egypt.
Fadal.
On the social Arabic, he doesn't pronounce Jamil, he says Jamil. Could you just expound on that?
Okay, so the brother asked a nice question about, he has an Egyptian friend, so he doesn't say Jamil, he says Gamil, G. So these are slang, not slangs, these are dialects, here we go, dialects. So in different parts of the world, for example in Medina, for a qaf, they're going to say G. In Yemen and so on, they're going to say Maqbool. They're not going to say Maqbool. Are you with me? These are just the way they speak. However, when they come to reciting Quran, there's one way of doing it. And it's so beautiful. Whether you go to China, you're not going to find a guy. No, everybody's going to recite same way, mashallah. And mashallah, our slang, alhamdulillah, Cape Townians as such, we can compete. We can and we have competed with Arabs. And we have beaten them as well, alhamdulillah, with regards to the recitation of Quran. So it's in our blood. So don't think too much about it. Just apply yourself, inshallah. Make yourself available. Allah will make you capable, inshallah. Ameen. Any other questions? No questions? Okay. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Salamun ala al-mursalin. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. I just mentioned to you guys that this is an unorthodox manner, because this can become a very dry thing. So we just try to bring a bit of unorthodoxy to the class, inshallah. Akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.